I know that there are a lot of natural makeup look tutorials out there, but I really want to show you today something that looks like you're actually not wearing any. So I've seen a lot of videos recently where they claim to be kind of like the no makeup look, but it really does look like they're wearing makeup. So I wanted to show you an ultra natural look, which is easy for you to do and honestly doesn't look like you're really wearing much, but still kind of gives you the coverage where you need it. So let's go. We're going to start with skincare because this is really, really important when it comes to creating a good base that doesn't look too heavy, and you really want to make your skin look as good as it possibly can without the makeup so that you don't need as much makeup. So I'm going to start with my eye cream. I've got my Drunk Elephant C-Tango multivitamin eye cream. I am a bit tired today because I had an event last night and it was just a really good event, but it's a late night. So it was like a really nice launch. Well, it was a dinner. It was an intimate dinner. Well, actually it wasn't that intimate because it was really, really long table, but it was for the launch of SAIE Beauty, which is a really nice clean beauty brand. I'm gonna use some of their products today. Okay, I've got my Drunk Elephant peptide, well, it's actually Protini polypeptide cream, which is my kind of day cream, and I'm just gonna blend this in. Okay, we're just gonna let that settle into the skin. That's really important. Don't move straight into the next skincare product. You've gotta let whatever you've put on, kind of let it sink into the skin, let it settle. Otherwise, all you're doing, you might as well have just mixed your moisturizer with whatever your next step product is and then applied it all together. That's literally what you're doing. So just let this settle down, let it kind of like just adapt to the skin, and then you can move on to the next step. So I want to apply a primer, but I do want to apply something which is going to really make my skin look kind of healthy. So not kind of super mattifying, but I want to be able to kind of like even out everything and just give a nice kind of like smooth base ready for my like foundation or whatever you decide to apply. I'm going to use the TATCHA Liquid Silk Canvas. I like this because it's not like super kind of drying on the skin, but it really does give a nice smooth finish. I like to kind of just smooth it over. I just feel like it's pointless rubbing a primer in because that's not what it's there for. It's to kind of create a thin veil of product on top of your skin. Again, with this primer, you need to let it settle down before you move on to the next step. But in the meantime, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna use. Now, what I like to do next is use a kind of slight kind of, not highlighter, but like a glow product, so something that's going to give me that really nice lit from within look but isn't overly shiny, because some of the products such as the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, I love that, but for a natural look I feel like sometimes it can be a bit, there's a bit too much of that kind of shimmer coming through. So a product that I actually used a little while ago, and I think I tried it somewhere but I didn't have it myself, so I tried it and I really loved it, and now that they've officially launched in this region, I'm super excited. So I'm gonna try this. This is the SAIE Glowy Supergel in Sun Glow. So there's another one I have here which is Rose Glow, which is quite tempting to be honest, but I'm gonna try this one. The one that I used was actually this shade, but I didn't use it all over and I really liked the texture. So I'm just gonna put this all over. And I think another reason I really like this, well, one, it's a clean product, there's no toxic ingredients in here, but two, I like the fact there's not that it's not overkill on the shimmer. It's a very kind of natural glow that it gives you. There you go. I might actually use this Rose Glow as well, but just add this to this area here. So I've got the darker one all over and then the Rose Glow along my cheekbones. Now you really want to let this settle down because obviously it is kind of like a slight sheen there, but you can feel like it takes a little bit of time to dry up. So we want that to just settle down before we move on to the next step. Now this process that I'm doing is actually very specific because if you want that no makeup look, like genuinely like as if you're not wearing any, then you've really got to be very careful with what you apply and also when you apply it and how you apply it. So as you've seen, we've applied this kind of like glow gel. What I want to do next is actually use some kind of blush that's going to come through the kind of skin tint we're going to use, or foundation. I'm going to use the SAIE Dew Blush in Chili. It comes like this. It's this kind of like deep pink. I'm going to put this on the back of my hand first. Don't put this directly onto your skin, and I'll explain why. You want to get a brush. I'm using my Hourglass 15 brush. We're going to really buff the blush into the brush first, and then we're going to apply it here. Now we are going to be underpainting, which is, it's kind of underpainting what we're doing today. And this is a really great way to get that natural look, because it's going to give you a soft focus look, but minimal makeup. See how we've got this right on the top parts of the cheekbone? There's a reason I'm doing it this way round. I haven't even touched my eyelids, which I usually do first, and I'm going to explain why. Now that we've got this kind of really nice glow on the face, we've got that glowy gel, we've got our blush on the face, so this is kind of like shown us what it looks like if we weren't to apply any concealer or foundation. So now is when you're going to be doing concealer around the eye area, because now you know how much you're going to need. Whereas when you've got nothing on your skin, you really pack it on, because we naturally want to just cover. Whereas now you've got a better idea that actually, you know what, I don't actually need as much as I thought I did, because I can see what it looks like a little bit with the rest of the face kind of semi-done. So this is where you want to pick a concealer which isn't too thick and opaque. I'm going to be using my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots Corrector and Serum. So this has got like, it's packed with niacinamide, so there's some good stuff in here. It's got a little brush at the top which you can use to blend, but that's up to you whether you think it's going to work for you. I'm going to use the brush. So this is where we're going to apply it to the back of the hand, and we're actually going to use the brush that's on it, and we're going to buff into it. I quite like that it's an actual brush. And this is where we're going to just brush this over the lid. Now we are going to very lightly press. Can you see I'm not going crazy? And the fact that I've actually buffed it into the brush first means that we're not getting a whole load of product kind of going onto the skin immediately. We're really getting an even application without having to worry about blending too much. Go in the inner corner. Already I can see it's bright in that area. I probably would have applied way more than this if I hadn't, you know, done the rest of the face first. I quite like this brush because I feel like the brush on the end of this, because I feel like it's small enough to fit in to the areas, but it's not so big that it ends up going over your lashes and too close to the lash line. I would say leave a bit of a gap, so don't go too close to this bit here where your lash line is. The closer you go to the lash line, the more of it is obvious that you're wearing a whole load of concealer. So we're going to go over and do the other eye. So we're just pressing. It's a very, very small amount of concealer we're applying. It's not a lot at all. You can go for a concealer which is much closer to your skin tone. Like I feel like this is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, but I know that when I apply my powder, it's because my powder is slightly warm, it's going to kind of bring it back down and be the right kind of shade for me. You want to make sure you use a good setting powder, by the way, because that's what's really going to make sure that this lasts all day. So don't kind of think that you have to go with a super light, ultra light setting powder. Like you can go with your usual setting powder if that's what works for you. Now that we've done the eyelids, I'm going to go into my powder, which is my Huda Beauty Easy Bake in Banana Bread, and I'm using my Real Techniques brush, and I'm just going to press over the eyelid. Now I'm going to work on my dark circles. So this is where I'm going to go back in with that concealer, and we're going to focus on this groove here, because that's really what's kind of like giving the dark circles a bit of a helping hand to look even darker. Now you want to go just above that groove and just below that groove, but don't go up really close to the lower lash line, because remember what I said about how it can end up looking quite mask-like. What I would suggest is when you're applying this to your under eye area, don't look up and apply this, because the minute you look up, you're actually going into the area that I'm saying not to go into. So keep looking straight ahead, because you will just automatically miss out that area. So I'm just pressing. There's not actually a lot of concealer on here. What I'm doing when I'm pressing, I'm actually going in that kind of like slight triangle shape. You know how we used to put concealer on where it's like that, but I'm not going too far into the cheeks. I'm kind of going like this and then up like that. I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like we could probably go a little bit more with that. So I feel like we've got some good coverage there. Now, obviously it's all looking a little bit patchy at the moment. Now I'm gonna take whatever's left of this concealer on my hand and I'm gonna just go on to the areas that I usually lift. So that's here and here. And you can apply anywhere that you feel like you need a bit of extra kind of coverage that you think that the foundation isn't gonna really do for you. Okay, so we're gonna use liquid bronzer. I'm using the Makeup by Mario SoftSculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. This shade is medium. I'm gonna get this at the back of my hand. We're gonna get the Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I'm gonna use the smaller side, buff the product into the brush first. You're doing that with everything. And now this is where we're gonna just shape the face so that we've got a little bit of sculpting so it doesn't look super flat. You can go round the hairline as well, just to give yourself a bit more of a warmer look. I'm kind of happy with that. That's just a small amount, but it's enough. Okay, so now for the foundation. I'm using my SWEED Beauty Glass Skin Foundation in 60. I'm just gonna put this on the back of my hand like that. Now we are gonna use a sponge for this. I'm using my beauty blender. I'm gonna buff this into the sponge. Make sure it's a very thin layer on here. We're gonna start pressing onto the skin from the forehead. This is a great foundation for a natural look. All the links are in my description. This like honestly gives you like a barely there look, like you're not even wearing foundation. It gives you the most amazing finish to your skin. So let's go along the under eye. So this is where we're covering up everything that we did, but we're using such a light coverage like foundation that everything underneath that we've done is still gonna come through. And that's why I really love the underpainting effect for this look, where it looks like you're not wearing any makeup. All the products that we've used, like I've been very strategic with what I've used because I really don't want it to look so, like I don't want it to look like, oh my God, she's contoured or anything like that. I've used everything that's products that are very kind of natural, glowy, not so overly pigmented that, you know, you're gonna go crazy with it. I just feel like you want something very natural. So we've applied the smallest amount of foundation. Now, this is where we're gonna be setting. We're not gonna be using a puff all over the face, but we are gonna use it on the under eyes just a little bit. So I'm gonna get my Laura Mercier powder puff, press into the powder, and we're gonna go like that. Usually you see me kind of going along the whole under eye area. Here, we're just literally gonna go like that. That's it. We're gonna get Hourglass veil brush, dip into the powder and press. Not a lot of powder. Just press all over. Got my Real Techniques brush. Just dust off the powder that we applied on the under eye area. I didn't actually apply too much on my nose of anything, to be honest, because I just want it to look very natural. So you can see we've got that really nice base. Now, like I've mentioned before in several videos, it takes a good kind of like anything from half an hour to an hour or even over for your natural oils in your skin to come out. It all depends on what your skin type is. But initially when you powder your face, you've got to expect that it's gonna look a little bit more kind of like done and like a bit more makeup than what it actually will end up looking. But if you want it to last all day, then you've got to go through that first hour or so of it looking a bit more not as natural, basically. Now you want to get a wet wipe and just clean over your brows so you don't have any makeup on them, because honestly it makes a huge difference if you're applying a brow gel because it all mixes up and looks bad. I've got my Glossier Boy Brow Clear Gel. I'm just going to apply that through the lashes. This is where, say, if you have makeup on your your brows, it's honestly going to mix in and look really bad. So I really like to kind of go right into the brow and then brush up so that I can then just press up. Now, while that's drying, we're gonna get on with the other parts of the face. So I'm gonna curl my lashes. I've got my Kevyn Aucoin lash curlers. Now we want a super natural mascara. So I'm gonna use my SWEED Beauty Pro Lash Lift Mascara because I feel like this gives a really good look to the lashes. And it's like a comb, so it's not like going through the, like, it's not like a normal wand. So it gives you a much more natural finish. So see what I mean? It just enhances your natural lashes. It's not like crazy. So I've got my Lime Crime Bushy Brow Pen in baby brown, and I'm just gonna replicate the hair. So now I'm just gonna brush through and create hair strokes. I mainly kind of focus on the bottom part of the brow, just because that's where I like to make it a bit thicker. Now, I don't want to resort to having to use a pencil at all for this look because I want it to look pretty natural. I feel like when you do brows, it's actually really hard to get them to look natural. Like the minute you apply anything to them, it's like they're a bit more groomed and done. Like I feel like that's good. I just want to add a few more at the end to lengthen them. There you go, I'm happy with that. So we're gonna go ahead and do the other one. I think if you've already got good brows, then it's much easier, obviously. But when you have quite sparse brows, it's really hard to make them look natural. I'm happy with the brows. It's honestly as far as I can go because even this I feel like probably does look a bit done, but then I've got very sparse brows, so it's extremely hard to make it look like there's nothing there. Well, no, it's not hard because there is nothing really there. But I mean, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude. Don't draw all the way around. We're gonna buff the line in. Use your finger, blend. So I'm just going to use a lip balm. I'm using my glossierrosebalm.com and I love this. It's so good. If you want to do things like contour your nose, I personally think you can do it because all it is giving the illusion of shadows. So I am going to use my Fenty Island Ting bronzer and my Fenty 200 brush. I'm just going to do it very lightly though, so go on the sides of the nose. And then a little V at the bottom. There you go. That feels like everything's a bit more put together now and it's just kind of, we've finished it off. So as you can see, we've still got that natural glow coming out. It doesn't look like I've got a ton of makeup on because I actually don't. And a lot of, I think the most of which product we've actually got on is the kind of glow gel, the glowy super gel from SAIE. And I feel like, yeah, that's the most that I think we've got on because there was a very minimal amount of concealer, very minimal amount of foundation, honestly the smallest amount, and I can still see all my kind of flaws coming through, you know, like my sunspots, my age spots, my freckles, they're all kind of like still coming through. And I'm fine with that. So hopefully this has shown you how you can create a makeup look that looks like you don't actually have anything there. It's gonna look different on each face type and skin type because I feel like, and based on your features as well, because some people take makeup more than others. Like some people can get away with wearing more and it's still looking like they're not wearing that much. And some people, just the minute they put a tiny bit on, it's like, wow. So it really depends on what your features are like, whether you can take a lot of makeup. But what I would say is you can still do this whole routine, but just adjust the amounts that you're going to be using based on your face type and your features and your skin type. So hopefully that's helped. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget all the products are listed in my description. I have an online publication called the Beauty Breakfast Club. It's a great beauty community that is growing rapidly. I would love to see you there. It's a publication that's online with articles that I write that go out every week. Beauty, health, culture, self, product recommendations, things that sometimes I may not talk about on here. So you can head over there and show some support. That would be great, and I'd love to see you over there. There are 2 versions of subscription. One is free, which gives you access to most of the site. The other is paid, but it's only the equivalent of a coffee a month, and it gives you access to the entire site, plus a little room where we can actually chat, me and you get extra newsletters. And I've got a vlog channel which has 2 videos a week, which is a vlog and also a podcast that I host with my husband. You might want to head over there because there's a lot of real talk going on over there. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.